What's up, everybody? Figure we wait for people to come on. See if anyone's even interested in coming on. I just posted a pretty good video, so a lot of people are probably on it. Oh. I'm actually just trying out Facebook Live since they turned on this feature now that we have over 1,000 subscribers. So I figured I'd give it a try. Hope everybody's doing good today. I am trying to. Okay, that's where everybody comes up. All right, it's going. How are y'all doing today? Garrett, I hope I'm saying that name right, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I just want to do just a real quick question and answer session. Really, more or less, now that we've got 1,000 subscribers on the channel, it's more to try this new live feature. So, anyway, figured why not? Would you go back on PKA, the podcast? Yeah, absolutely. Hit them up. Tell them to bring me on, and I would absolutely go back on the podcast. That was a good time, and actually, it's a very welcoming, open community. They're cool. They're very cool. Alabama, Josh Duncan. Who do you root for? You Alabama or you Auburn? Anyway, as I said, I just figured I'd try this. This new live feature. Hey, oh, the UK, outstanding. I'm from Georgia, by the way. They're Alabama, so just wanted to ask because I know how big SEC football is down here. Man, I love you guys. Thank y'all so much. Roll Tide all the way. Alabama. All right, all right. Hey, look, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all so much. Georgia. You're going to have to tell me what part of Georgia. I live in the suburbs of Atlanta. But anyway, man, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. When I started the channel a few months ago, I had no idea it would blow up to what it is. And Savannah, okay, actually, I was down in Savannah just a few months ago. I love Savannah, beautiful city. We went to Hilton Head. No, St. I always get these ones confused. Hilton Head's where we went to. Uh, hey, from the UK, what does that say? It went away. I'm sorry. Um, but I just want to thank y'all for making this channel what it is today. When we started it a few months ago, I've got to go ahead and tell you guys I really had no desire to be a YouTube personality. I know I did the show, but I had no desire to do it. Um, okay, sorry. Uh, my brother-in-law is kind of really the reason why I even started the channel. My brother-in-law did 10 years in prison, and he really, when he came out, he had the desire and he had the want to start a YouTube channel, and he did. And he only got about 40 subscribers or so. So I kind of stepped in and I said, "Look, um, thank you, Bloodshot. I appreciate that. But I was like, look, dude, I know you want to be on YouTube. I've got kind of somewhat of a fan base. I don't have the hundreds of thousands of people that some reality TV people have. Um, I just have, a few thousand. I could care less about numbers, but really what I wanted to do is I wanted to thank you guys for tuning in. Um, I had no idea. Let's see, as of right now, we've got 1,230 or so subscribers. Um, so by all means, support, share, like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Would definitely mean a lot. Um, but I just wanted to say thank you. And I wanted to answer questions. Obviously, y'all know I did 60 days in. Would love to kind of chat with you about 60 days in if y'all have any questions. I'm kind of looking down and looking at the computer at the same time. So, as I said, what questions do y'all have? Um, by the way, Alabama, there, I am a Georgia fan. Are you in contact with any other inmates? That's a great question. I'm actually in contact with another inmate. I'm trying to see. He's got a great story. He'd been in and out of facilities. He'd been in and out of prison for years, and it was all because of drug usage. He was just addicted, and we met in my pod, and you'll see bits and pieces of him, but he didn't get any big airtime like say Dylan did. Hey Charles, but I'm still in touch with him because he's got a great story. He got out of jail within a couple of months of us leaving, and now, okay, I'll answer that in just a second, Charles. And now he's actually out there. He's quit drugs. His big thing was crystal meth, and he finally quit drugs, and so it's a success story. So I'm in contact with him about coming on. Um, have I thought about going on lockdown 20? Oh, I think you're saying 23-1 or after prison show. I would, if they would invite me, but I not really doing it. To answer your question, as far as Abner, I don't know what happened with Abner. I don't talk with him anymore. He kind of fell off the face of the planet. So I'm not 100% sure. Dropping hits, what's up, buddy? I'm not 100% sure where he is. And no one, even from the show, can get in touch with Abner. So I don't know what's going on with him. I hope he's okay. Um, Thank you. I saw that, Isabella. Thank you. I love you too. Team Dylan, rock on. I hope you like this latest interview because we were able to get Dylan on, and Dylan is the one everybody loved. So make sure you scroll down, watch that video today. It's awesome. What about Dylan? I thought he was coming out soon. Also, what does prison do to help people with drug addictions? Okay, Dylan is out. Look below this live video, and you will see we just posted an interview at 12 o'clock today with him. So, but that's a great question. What does prison do for people with addictions? They incarcerate them. Now, they try to get them in programs and stuff like that, but that's kind of one of the biggest things that we talk about is we really want to change the system to where we can root out the root cause of addiction. Because those of us that have done, and I'm not going to say I've done time, okay? I've done, so many days in a county facility. But that's one of the biggest things that we saw is we want, instead of incarceration for those that have drug addictions, we would like to see them, get their issues, let's get those solved so they don't have to keep coming in and out. Charles, thank you. Uh-oh. That's dropping hits. I appreciate that. Your Discord page just said I was live. So thank you for the shout out, brother. I agree with you, Garrett. We do need rehabilitation. Now, understand, I do not believe at any point we have to have a prison system because there are people that just need to be incarcerated for the rest of their lives. That being said, for some of the minor level issues that, as I said, it's drugs or whatever, let's get to the root cause and stop over incarcerating people. That's my idea. That's my belief. You know, when you have a person that they get to jail, and sometimes in jail or, in prison, their drug addictions are get even worse because of all the smuggled drugs in there. So let's get to the root problem. Let's figure that out, and let's go from there. Someone just asked me what my MOS in the Army is. I did 13 years in the Army, so I had 2 MOSs. I was an artilleryman, multiple launch rocket systems. If you know Army stuff, I worked in the artillery first, and then I actually went into human intelligence. So I was an interrogator. Defunding the police. Great question. If you don't know, I'm actually a law enforcement officer now. I disagree with defunding the police, but before you write me off, hold on. I do agree that in a lot of cases we need to concentrate on social workers, get them in there, and try to root, as I said, once again, rehabilitation and stuff like that. I completely agree with that, but defunding the police is not the way to do it. The real question: pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Ooh, that's a good question. So I choose not to do pineapple on pizza. I like Italian sausage, pepperoni, and jalapeno. That's the best pizza out there. Let me scroll up and see what else, because a bunch of y'all came in super quick. If you don't mind me asking, what was your? Okay, I answered that. I do talk to a lot of other participants actually. So, Isabella. So the thing about 60 Days In is we are a small family because there's only been what 6 seasons, and then there was the Narco Land offshoot, which garnered an acclaimed like 3 viewers. Um, but the participants, we're like any other family. There's some people we talk to, some people we don't. But I pretty much try to stay in touch with a good chunk of the participants from season one. Actually, we interviewed Zach. I don't know, maybe a month ago. That's down there. So I talked to Zach. I talked to Ryan from season two. I talked to Matt from season five. We're all super close. Of course, I talked to Vivian. I talked to David. I talked to Richie Weber from Narcoland. And if you don't know my show, Ashley from season six is one of my co-hosts. And so, yeah, the 60 Days In family is like super small. So a lot of us keep in touch with each other and we talk to each other. Um, okay, Charles asks, when did you feel like you were about to get jumped during the end of the days? Okay, so let's talk about that's actually a great question, Charles. At the end, after David was taken off the show, um, there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened. And actually, Josh, who was the pod boss for the Woods in my pod, came out one day and said we were all to move out soon. We were to no longer do interviews. And as many of y'all know, you watched where they they pulled me out for an interview anyway. So at the end, it was like, okay, what's going to happen? But Josh actually had blessed that particular meeting and let me go out. And within like 2 days, I was pulled out. I never really thought I was going to be jumped, but you never know. And some people in here that might have ever been incarcerated. You can be best friends, and best friends with people 1 minute, and they're jumping you the next. Um, Hold on. Whoops, I didn't mean to report. Uh-oh. Well, hold on. Let me do that. I'm trying to scroll through y'all's stuff. Screw B. Shaw. That guy wouldn't last if some people didn't care about serving more time. Yeah, so B. Shaw was definitely the reason why we got pulled. Thank you, Josh. Let me see. Rob from season one, was he on? I have not interviewed Robert. Robert has fallen off the face of the planet. And to be honest with you, I don't think I ever would interview Robert. Robert did the show. He did an interview on, I think they call it Radar Online, where he talked a lot of negativeness about 60 Days In. And there is some stuff that he was right about. It is edited. But understand, I had actually a guy that came onto the Dylan interview, and I went ahead and blocked him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I blocked him, but he was talking about how the show was fake and this, that, and the other, and then he started talking smack on Nate. So I'm not gonna have that on my channel. But Robert, I say that to say Robert semi told some of the truth, but he made it out to be a lot worse than what 60 Days In is. So let me see. I hope that answered your question, brother. I'm trying to get caught up, y'all. What was the best part? Okay, sup, Mark. How you feel about King Vaughn? I love everybody, man. I say you were so brave. Huge props to you. Did you ever feel like you might not make it? You know what? If we're gonna be honest, The, because we're on a show, we have the ability at any time to say, nope, we're not doing it anymore. I'm done. And I will say I never planned on quitting, but that never made it easier either to be able to say, hey, I'm done. And so I don't think, if we're going to be honest, I don't think there was a single day that didn't go by that I didn't consider quitting. But, it's just not in my nature to quit. Let me see what else you guys have. Come on. Uh, what was the best part on the show, on or off camera? So the best part of the show was helping people, and you didn't see that because it was edited out of the show. But I wrote about 30 resumes for guys while I was in there because I didn't want them to come back into the facility. So just getting there and helping them see hope, which was one thing that a lot of them lacked, was seeing hope. So I would write resumes for these guys, and you know, in jail we don't have a computer where we can type out a resume. Can we turn this into a Bible study? Bible study, 5 minutes. Um, so sorry, but so as far as the resume, that was probably the greatest part. Was these guys were starting to see hope and not wanting to come back, and I hope I helped them. Honestly, I hope that helped them. Let me see. I'm trying to get y'all individually, and I'm sorry they're just coming quick, and I appreciate that, y'all. I've currently been binge watching 60 Days In, and just fueled my passion for helping and pursuing my career in the criminal justice system. You know what? It did the same for me. I was a corrections officer, and after I'd actually quit, and I became a real estate agent. And when 60 Days In contacted me about doing the show, I did the same thing. I went ahead and did the show, and after that, I decided to jump back into law enforcement. I'm not going to tell you where I work at, just for I'm not authorized any of that, but suffice it to say, I work for a sheriff's office now, and I love the fact that I can help people and not be, as I said, there are people that need to be incarcerated, but it's about treating people with respect, showing them, because the media portrays law enforcement in kind of negative terms now, and I'm there to try to break that stereotype. So let me see, and so is Ashley. Ashley is awesome. She's a co-host. Big fan of Mark. I'm always on here supporting the AFBP gang. You're always 100. I came home in April after my state bid in Missouri. I would love to chat with you sometime. Much love and respect. Jeremy, hit me up, bro. I don't know. Can you message me? Find me on social media, Facebook, MarkDin, Mark Den, and at the Real Mark 60 on Instagram and Twitter. So hit me up, brother. I'd love to chat with you. Um, have any of the other participants acted? I'm sorry. Have any of the inmates reacted badly to your participants on the show? I don't know. Most people haven't given us too big of an issue. Most of the inmates I've talked to respected, that we were on 60 Days In because they know that we're there to make a difference. Mark, do you answer IGDMs? I try. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I work 3 to 11 for the sheriff's office. So usually on my days working, and I work Friday through Tuesday, I'm off Wednesday, Thursday. It's really hard for me because, I've got a family too. So, 3 to 11 is just a weird shift. I try to answer you. If you'll hit me up on IG, I promise you I'll eventually get back to you. I wish I could say it would be immediately, but you got to understand, especially now that 60 Days In has been released on Netflix, we're getting bombarded. We're getting bombarded with a lot of messages and stuff like that, but I promise you I'll try to get back with you. Let me see what else we got. How do you feel about the guy from last season that didn't even make it out of intake? You know what? That's a great question. Okay, so there are some participants that go through, you had Gerson and I believe season 3 that didn't even make it out of the hotel. You have some people that go to intake and they don't make it. I'm not going to talk bad about them because it's all fun and games until you actually are walking down the mile, on the way to the pod, and then it's all of a sudden a different thing. And you got to understand, we're volunteering. We're not going there because we committed a crime. We're volunteering to go. So, to be honest with you, I don't look down on anybody that didn't even make it through intake. So let me see. How did your family react when you told them you were volunteering to go to jail? You know what? I was in the military. So my wife knew I volunteered to do some crazy things. So honestly, it didn't bother them. And then as far as my kids, we didn't say anything to them. We really didn't. I just told them I was going on an adventure because my kids didn't need to know I was going to jail. Um, okay. Hey, Tear Talk. How you doing, buddy? How did you feel about David leaving midway? Okay, so I didn't even know that David had gotten pulled. So I very rarely slept in the facility, and I'll tell you why. The You're sleeping on a metal slab, and the mattress is about that thick. So I really didn't sleep a lot because it was just so uncomfortable. I didn't know David left until I woke up, and one of the inmates, his name's Matt, came up to me and said, "Do you hear what happened to Prince?" And I'm like, "No, what happened?" He left. So I didn't truly know what happened. I didn't know he had been pulled for his safety. I didn't, or for, pulled for any other reasons that the show portrays. I just thought it was the end of his time because we were getting close to having completed the full mission. And so I had no idea that he had actually been pulled and all that stuff was going to go down. I thought he was actually at the end of what he was supposed to do. I hope that answers that question. Um, I'm trying to get caught up, y'all. Okay, how do you feel when the females in the show having OnlyFans? You know what? That's up to them. As far as the female on the show, you're only talking about. Well, I think there's two. There's one from season one. I don't know of anyone else. That's them. I'm not. I was actually thinking about starting an OnlyFans account, but I was going to keep my clothes on. But no, I'm just kidding. You know what? That's on them. If that's what they want to do, then so be it. Let me see. I'm trying to get caught up, y'all. I love y'all. 0 days in is not an honest perspective of the good and dedicated work that goes on behind the wall. It is a very biased perspective. Oh, I think you're saying 60 days in is not an honest perspective of the good, dedicated work that goes. Okay, so Tear Talk, I would actually completely agree with you. 60 days in is a good, as far as from the participant standpoint, it is a good view of the criminal justice system. As you know, there are corrections officers that should not be there, but there are many more great correction officers. In fact, when I did my briefing with the sheriff, all you saw was me complaining about a guy with a razor that denied me a razor blade. Unfortunately, the rest of it was edited out. Um, and but I actually had a whole list of corrections officers that were great people that I gave the sheriff. The product itself is great, I think, from both sides. After editing, though, it's a different story. I mean, it is what it is. I hope you and your family are well, Mark. It's good seeing you. It's good seeing you, Tear Talk. Tear Talk is a great dude. He works um, as an administrator at a prison, and he does a lot of training videos for corrections officers. So if that's something you're interested in, go over to his page, subscribe. Dropping Hits is here. He's got a great perspective as well. He's my boy. I've done an interview with him. Go over to his page as well and subscribe. Let me see. Nothing wrong with that, but I find it funny that they all have one when trying to find their whereabouts now. I'm not sure what I said that triggered that response. Sorry, buddy. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Mark, will you ever make your own content, or are you gonna copy dropping hits all the time? I do make my own content. Have you not watched the page lately? Okay. Thanks, dropping hits. I appreciate that, bro. Have you or will you ever tell your kids? Oh, they know. They watch the show with me. The only reason why I didn't tell them at the time is I didn't want them worrying about me being in jail. They know. They've watched the show with me. Yes, terrible. How do the elderly guys cope with such bad sleeping arrangements? I don't know, because listen, when I went in, I was 41, and it still hurt. So I can only imagine if you were elderly. Would you do it again? Absolutely, I would. I would. That's a good question. What about the showers? Was it weird? We actually worked a deal where pretty much when you showered alone. Even though it was like group showers, I would wake up at like 7 or 8 in the morning and take my shower. I never had a guy showering with me, and neither did anyone else. Do you keep in touch with John, and is he still in touch with Jashawn? Yes, and yes, he is. John's a good dude, and yes. So I hope that answers that question. Big UK fan of you, loved your season. What do you think of Tony and the links he went to? Also, I do have a follow up question for yourself to do with dropping hits, who I am subscribed to. Well, thank you so much. What do you think? I think Tony's a good dude. You know, when he first started, and I did an interview with Tony, I didn't know about him, but and at first I was like, oh, what's this guy doing? But I understand what he did. I love Tony. Tony actually lives about 20 minutes north of me. So I think when we get together one day, we're going to do a live video. So anyway, just FYI. Tear Talk, love you, brother. Yeah, got to check out Tear Talk. He is a good dude, and he has good content if you're interested in the corrections officer side of it. Or aren't there any programs to keep people occupied or learn new skills? You know, they do in prison, but they don't in county. And that was one of the things that we mentioned. A lot of jails will say the turnover rate here is ridiculous and it's hard to get programs going. And I understand that because you have a lot of people in county that are there for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. So I understand that. I do. That it's hard to get programs going for people like that outside of AA, NA, and Bible study. It's hard to find programs, but I do agree that we should come up with something for people because you have people that are in county for 3, 4, 5 years. That maybe there's something that they can do. So good point. Have you talked to any prisoners since you left? I've talked to a couple. And we're trying to get. Well, we did Dylan. Obviously, if you look down below this video, you'll see we interviewed Dylan the other day. Would you say jail is better, easier, or worse than the average person would assume? Okay, so A&E concentrates. That's a good point. Let me put this off to the side. A&E concentrates on all the fights and stuff like that. The one thing that I noticed when I was in county lockup is something that'll get you jumped in the street is going to get you jumped in jail. What do I mean? If you go up and you talk down to someone in the street, they're going to attack you. In county, at least in my experience, all the fights were because they disrespected someone was disrespected. It wasn't necessarily people just going around in groups and fighting people. That was not my experience. So great question, and that would be my answer if that is there's not a lot of senseless violence there. I mean, there is a lot of violence, not as much as A&E would portray you, but usually if there's a fight, it's because it's something that someone said that if you were out of jail, it would still get you jumped anyway. So just food for thought. I'm trying to get all of y'all, and I promise it's just a lot of comments are coming out. How is the jail dealing with COVID? Very carefully. So I know a lot of facilities now are limiting how much you can come out of your cell instead of having a whole tier pop out for their rec time at a time. What you're seeing a lot now is they're popping out a couple of cells at a time, and they're just doing it all day. Why was Josh the white leader? To be honest with you, I have no idea. He was already the leader when I got in, and I don't know why Josh was the leader. Let's see. Did you ever see the girls, Jack, Brooke, or Vivian, when you were in the facility? No, never saw the females. In fact, the only person I ever saw was David Abner. I saw him one time because I was coming back from an interview and he was coming back from a video visitation, and I saw him for probably 35 seconds. So I never saw Abner, and I never saw, the only person I saw all the time was David. Let me see. Yeah, so I love football, but since March Madness was on, I wanted to watch March Madness. Is prison food really as terrible as they say it is? Yes, prison food is there's not a lot of it, and it's not that great. Since one of the missions is to get drugs or weapons, would they happen if they got caught? What would happen if they got caught? Would they pull everybody and end the show? I think, are you talking about participants or are you talking about inmates? Because what happens in the inmate facility is inmates will actually get put on lockdown. They'll go to an isolation cell. As far as the facility, I don't know. Mark, I know you did Dropping Hits, did an or you and Dropping Hits did an interview. There's a game called A Way Out. Would enjoy seeing both you and him play such. It's of gel. Also, would love to ask questions myself for YouTube. Absolutely. I don't know that game. Hit me up and let me know what it is. I'm not 100% sure what it is. Do the inmates get extra time added for the things they do get caught on camera, or is it considered breaking the law? No, in the history of 60 Days In, I don't think they've ever actually prosecuted anyone that had anything on camera. I answered that question. Did you hear about Big Nate dying? Yes, I did. Rest in peace, Nate. Nate was a solid guy. It was a shame, and the entire 60 Days In community, including pretty much all the participants, are just terribly sad about it. Nate was a great dude, and I promise you, those of us that knew Nate can vouch for him. He is too old, and his back was messed up. Prince could have messed him up. The other Woods leader is Abner. His pod was huge. Not 100% sure where you're going with that. If you had to pick a different season to be on, which would you go on? Okay, so that's actually a great question. I don't think I would have done season 6 because did you guys see season 6? Season 6 was insane. Oh, they did. Okay. I don't know. It'd probably be season 1 or 2. A&E removed the full episode of season 3 and 4 from YouTube. Do you think that they did that because of what happened to Nate? I was unaware of that. That is quite interesting. And yes, it could have very well happened to honor Nate. And that's a shame because I think, we need to definitely pay tribute to Nate. Nate was probably one of the best to ever do the show, if not the best to ever do the show. How many days were you there? I'm sure I missed this answer already. Uh, so we're not really allowed to say the day count as far as how many days we were there, and I guess it's to go along with the storyline. But suffice it to say, I was there the majority of the time. I got pulled a little bit early, but we're literally talking about days. I think I got pulled out on Friday, and I was scheduled to get pulled on that following Wednesday. So we didn't get pulled all that early. Granted, you did an excellent job in the facility in Arizona, but do you think you could have done the full 60 days in Gadsden? Probably, because I'm too stupid to do anything else. But I wouldn't have liked it. I will say that the people that did Gadsden or Fulton County, they had a lot rougher than we did. Yeah, Nate was definitely one of my favorites. It was a shame I don't know what else to say. If you love the guy, I did do a tribute video. You can watch that. Golly, he's definitely sorely missed. How come A&E didn't do a Where Are They Now for season 5? You know what? I don't know, but they didn't do one for season 6 either. So I'm gonna assume A&E just decided to move away from that. How much paperwork was involved with what Bloodshot, and what's the audition process? Okay, so a lot of people volunteer to be on a show. We don't. They're very selective about who they bring onto the show. They contacted me. I was actually on Facebook, and they contacted me and asked me, and I just did a whole series of Skype interviews, and it kept getting better and better and better. Let me see. Netflix is the way to go for watching the seasons. Yeah, I didn't even know. They don't tell us. They don't talk to us anymore. So I think someone told me it was on Netflix. I did notice an influx of followers on my social media pages. I was like, where are all these people coming from? A couple of months ago, they premiered it or re-premiered it in the UK. So I started picking up a lot of people from the UK, Ireland, England, Scotland, and I love you guys. But this was a whole lot more followers than I picked up from the UK re-premiere. But I don't remember who told us that it was on Is there one person you can interview out of 60 Days In or famous convicts? Who would you like to interview? Nate. Um, Nate. I mean, I can't. So if we're going to talk about someone, I don't know. As far as 60 Days In, it's not too hard to get. When I contact people, one of the first things I say is, "Hey, this is Mark from 60 Days In on A&E." It's pretty easy to get people to interview because that gives me, I don't want to say instant credibility because I don't want y'all to think I'm conceited or anything, but it's a lot easier for me to get people than it is for just, hey, my name's Bob Smith and I run a YouTube channel. So I hope that answers your question. You know what? I don't know who I'd want to do. Love the Mark Lamb interview. Yeah, I hope you guys liked it. We did interview Mark Lamb. You should do an interview with Abner. We can't find Abner. It's compulsive viewing, but we don't have all the seasons in the UK. You can probably go to YouTube. I know season 5, if you haven't seen it, is out on YouTube, but I don't know if there's an American YouTube and a UK YouTube. I'm not sure. Are they planning on doing more seasons? You know what? I don't know for sure, but I would say absolutely they are because it's a moneymaker for A&E. And let's be honest, they do it for money. That's not a reflection of them, but they do it for money. Could you do a Days In season 5 and 6? Where are they now for AFBP? That's actually a great idea, James. James, you know what? I'm writing that down, dude. We could fill in the void from A&E. That is actually a really good idea, dude. I'm writing that down. Where are they now? Dude, thank you, man. That's a great idea. Sorry, dude. I'm writing that down. That might actually be a void. If y'all want to know where they're at now, yeah, we'll contact them and have them on. Great call, man. Would you interview David? Look at the latest episode, brother. David's on there too. Do you think celebrities should be treated the same as everyone else in prison? Yes, if you do the crime, you do the time, period. Abner's last name is Cruz, right? It's actually Abner Falero. I'm not sure. He has a couple of last names. I mean, as is in that culture. But I know Falero is one of them. Can you do an interview with Brooke? Brooke fell off social media too. But I am friends with her husband on Facebook. That would actually be a good call. I'll try to reach out to her. Why you say that 60 Days Narco is being the worst of the seasons? Okay, great question. I'm not saying Narcoland was the worst one. I'm saying as far as ratings, because I support all the participants, period. I'm not saying they were the worst, but what I am saying is, unfortunately, in the ratings scheme of things, no one watched it. It was a failure for A&E. I don't know why. I mean, I understand a little bit. I think people that are 60 Days In fans want the purity of 60 Days In back, not the going outside. So I'm not bashing Narcoland. I'm just saying based on what they were saying. My co-host Justin is on. My brother-in-law. There you go. Hey, Justin. Yeah, James. Great idea, brother. Have they left the door open so you can just walk through it? They have left the door open so you can just walk through it. Absolutely. That might be some content. If COVID had never happened, A&E would have released a teaser. I agree with that, AT Gaming. If it hadn't been for COVID, I think COVID just put production on hold is all that happened. That's all that happened, is it put production on hold. I guarantee 60 Days In is coming back. Once again, it's like Live PD. I mean, it's a moneymaker for A&E, y'all. So they're gonna do it again. I've heard that rumor has it that they had already planned, and when coronavirus happened, they had already picked a facility. But when coronavirus happened, they had to pull them out. So I don't know if they had put in people yet, but that they had to stop all production. So I don't know how much of that happened, how much was still in the planning. Yeah, because the trailer is usually released around November. Absolutely. Yeah, so coronavirus has put a halt and put a cancellation. that's, oh goodness, everything comes in now. So that's what happened. It just coronavirus messed everything up, but it will be back. But being the premier 60 days in YouTube channel, 60 days in YouTube channel. No, dropping hits is pretty good too. Between our two channels, as I said, dropping hits. If you guys are not subscribed, go subscribe to the guy. The guy's awesome. So between our two channels, maybe we can fill in the void, brother. And then they can get some of their 60 days in addictions. Has being on the show changed your mind, and how you do law enforcement? Yes, absolutely. I've always been respectful with people, but now that you know what type of facility, what they're going to experience, absolutely, great question. It has changed how I treat people. So let me see. Do you think 68 days in would ever work in the UK jail system? If it was ever entertained, would you be interested in being the first American participant if no one knew who you were? I would. I would definitely do it. I think the UK jail system, I don't know much about criminal justice in Europe, but I would definitely do the show. I mean, get with, tell you what, make a call. Get us down there. I'll go. Of course, people will know who I am. Where do I work now? I work for a sheriff's office in my town. So I'm back in law enforcement. Cook County in Chicago. Ooh, that's tough. I don't know about that. The American system, do you think it would be the American? Hold on, let me see if there's another part of that. Oh, how different from the American system do you think it would be? I've actually heard that in Europe, it's a lot different. Let's be honest. If we're going to have honest dialogue here, let's do it. The American criminal justice system, they kind of throw them in a cage, and it's, you know, what is that? You know, I can't think of the word I was going to say. Sorry. Well, let's just be honest. The American criminal justice system is thrown in a cage, and may the best win, is what I'm trying to say. I've heard that the UK, it's actually a lot better. Hey, if y'all don't know, me and Dropping Hits are brothers. Yeah, yeah. That's the rumor that started on this channel. Yeah, so might as well confirm that we're brothers. Do you have any regrets? I do not have any regrets. I'm glad I did it. And finally, imagine if 60 Days In was in Rikers Island. I don't think I would want to. I wouldn't do it. If it was Rikers Island, there's no way I would volunteer to do that. Do you think the people escaped from Alcatraz? Do you think those three you're talking about specifically? I don't know. That would be an interesting story, though. I would love to see if people escaped. I think there were three that they went off in a lifeboat. That would be interesting. Yeah, Max, I agree. Hey, dropping hits. Yep, okay. Do you think any assumptions? Did you have any assumptions that were wrong? I gotta think about that. Let me think about that. I heard they were shutting Rikers in 2026. My assumptions on the criminal justice system was they were all bad people. I never disrespected people. Let me put that out there. But they were all bad people until I went in there and I realized that's not true. That's not true at all. I mean, there is a percentage of them that are terrible people that never need to leave prison, and I think most of us would agree with that. But a lot of people are just there to do their time, and they want to be successful. In fact, my brother-in-law Justin, he's on the thread now. He's a great example of that. He made a stupid mistake, and he's open about it. He caught a 10-year prison sentence. He did 10 years, and now he's out doing great things. Yeah, in fact, I didn't do 69 days in, but it was 60 days in. But he was actually one of the he was actually one of the big reasons why I did 60 days in, because I was a corrections officer, so I saw life from one side of the bars, but he was in prison, so that was the other side. But golly, I see I've been live for about 45 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off, guys. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I just kind of wanted to see now that we have 1,000 subscribers, YouTube just started this where we could go live. Let me know what you want us to talk about in our live platforms. Unfortunately, well, I could probably buy something. Maybe we'll start doing some episodes. Oh, one idea that we're thinking about, and tell me what y'all think, is as they do release the new seasons of 60 Days In, we are going to go live and we are going to do after show parties, if that's what you want to call them. I do have a Twitter. I have an Instagram. On Twitter and Instagram, it's at the real Mark60. My Facebook is Mark DIN, Mark Den. So, but love you guys. You're welcome. I hope you're enjoying the video. I mean, subscribe. We've actually got some stuff coming out: shirts, coffee cups, stickers, stuff like that. Let us know if you're interested. Would love to get them to you. We're not looking to make a lot of money off this channel, but we would like to raise the quality content. I'm filming on my phone right now, but I want to get a real computer so we can do good, good quality stuff. You see the green screen behind me, and I got the green screen and didn't realize I couldn't do it on my phone. I have to have a program and a new computer because my computer's old. Great stuff. No, get on the season 5 and 6. Where are they now? Yeah, I am going to do that, James. That's a great idea. All right, guys. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.